In Japanese society, the way you present yourself is of the utmost importance. When introducing yourself to someone in Japan, it's very important that you understand your audience, which is whoever you're talking to. When it comes to Japanese culture, manners are absolutely key. Courtesy is a concept that is even built into the language, as many words and phrases have both formal and informal variations. This is why it is very important for you to know your audience. Additionally, the Japanese have several behavioral customs that are considered polite to observe when meeting someone for the first time. In this presentation, I'm going to teach you how to apply your own presentation skills to a real-world situation in Japan. When you go to introduce yourself, the words you use must be chosen based upon who you're talking to. It's important to know how to properly address strangers, colleagues, and those considered higher up than you socially. In Japanese culture, there are certain people who require your immediate respect. These people include teachers and professors, healthcare professionals, your employers, and those who are older than you. If you find yourself talking to a stranger, always err on the side of formality. In Japanese society, there is really no such thing as being too polite. Unless you're speaking to someone who you are very familiar with or who is significantly younger than you, formality is key. Once you have evaluated your audience, you're ready to speak. If you're meeting someone for the first time, there are certain steps that you should take. Begin by bowing to the person you are meeting and say, "Hajimemashite," a greeting that is similar to "nice to meet you." Introduce yourself using your last name, as is customary in Japanese culture. The use of given names is limited almost entirely to between family members. Once you have exchanged names with a new person, bow again and say, "Douzo yoroshiku." The literal translation of this is along the lines of, "Please be good to me." This is the most polite way to introduce yourself to someone you have never met before. Now that you have introduced yourself to someone, there are several different ways to greet them throughout the day. To say good morning to someone who is above you, you say "Ohayo gozaimasu." To say good morning to a peer, you may simply say "Ohayo." For example, if Suzuki-san wants to say good morning to her professor, she will say, "Sensei, ohayo gozaimasu." This is the polite way to greet an instructor. Her professor, on the other hand, may simply respond by saying, "Ohayo, Suzuki-san." If you see someone during the day, you say, "Konnichiwa." In the evening, you greet someone by saying, "Konbanwa." These are in their polite form on their own. Proper self-conduct is very important in Japanese culture. It's important to always be humble and respectful. Avoid speaking too highly of yourself or your possessions, as this is considered very rude. Never brag or show off. Accept compliments given to you with grace, but keep in mind that it is common for Japanese people to refute compliments. For example, if Tanaka-san has invited Ueda-san to his house, Ueda-san might say, "Tanaka-san no uchi wa totemo kirei na uchi desu ne," meaning, "Your house is very nice." Tanaka-san would reply by saying, "Iie, kirei janai desu," which means, "No, it's not nice." This may seem unusual, but is the polite way to respond in such a situation. Even though the socially acceptable response is to turn down the compliment, it is still nice to pay compliments to the people around you. Remember to always be pleasant and polite. If someone invites you to their home for dinner, consider bringing a small gift as a way of showing gratitude. If you are staying with a host family, offer to help out with household chores. The best thing to keep in mind is that there is no such thing as being too polite, too giving, or too humble. It may seem like a lot to remember, but the majority of Japanese people are incredibly understanding and helpful when it comes to non-native speakers. If you make a mistake, don't freak out. They know that you're trying your best, and that's what really counts. The most important thing to do before you speak is evaluate your audience. Think about who you're talking to and consider how much respect you should give them. When in doubt, default to using formal language. Present yourself as a kind and humble person, and everything will work out just fine.